What's up, everybody? Trey here, and today we're talking Philadelphia Eagles versus the Washington Commanders in the NFC Conference Championship game this past weekend on Sunday. And man, I mean, the Eagles really just put the beat down on the Commanders. Eagles won 55-23. Coming into the game, the Eagles were the favorite. The Eagles were a 6-point favorite. They opened as a 6-point favorite, closed at a 6.5-point favorite. And look, man, as much as you hate to see it, turnovers. Okay, so let's just start with the straight up quarterback comparison. Okay, Jaden Daniels, the rookie that hasn't been playing like a rookie this year. I mean, he's been playing out of his mind. But when it came down to it, he had a turnover, right? He had the interception, right? He threw for a touchdown, but had the big interception. He threw for 255 yards on 48 attempts. And look, throwing the ball 48 times, that's a lot. That's a lot, right? Like, it shows there's such a heavy reliance on their pass game, right? So they 48 attempts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's had receptions to 10 different receivers, so he's really spreading the ball around. I'm sorry, 9 receivers. Luke McCaffrey's listed there, but he only had a target, not a reception. So 9 different receivers, really spread it out. I mean, for what it's worth, he 255 yards. That's no slouch. But they did go for it a lot on third downs. They went for it a ton on fourth downs. They even broke out the trick plays, right? They had the one where on the punt, I think the punter had the pass to the tight end for a first down. So they were really pulling out all the stops to get some momentum going in Philadelphia. And sometimes it worked, but most of the time it didn't. Right, going back to Jaden Daniels in the pass game, right? He did have 3 sacks, and on those sacks lost 27 yards. When you compare that to Jalen Hurts, 2 sacks for 16 yards, right? So able to limit the damage just a little bit more. Again, Jalen Hurts, 246 pass yards on 28 attempts. So, right, 20 less attempts than Jaden Daniels and only had 9 less yards, right? So, again, I think that goes to show just how much the Commanders were struggling in the pass game and the run game also, and they were really just doing their best to get something going, but they really were just killing their own momentum with the turnovers that I'll talk more about in a second. Okay, let's look at the rushing comparison. Jaden Daniels, he was actually their leading rusher. 6 carries for 48 yards and a touchdown. Okay, Brian Robinson, he's been great all year, but this game, just not enough. They couldn't get him going, and like they did in pretty much every other game this season. He had 11 carries for 36 yards, no touchdowns, only averaged 3.3 yards per carry. Austin Eckler, 8 carries for 15 yards, averaged 1.9. I mean, it's just their offense was not nearly as balanced as it has been in definitely their other playoff games, but the games that you really saw them dominate, right, they were a balanced offense. They didn't have to rely on that Jaden Daniels magic so much like they did in this game. And this time around, it didn't work out for them. Long story short, the Commanders only had 99 yards of rushing on offense. That's not going to be enough. It's not enough compared to the Eagles when you look, right? I feel like every time, if you weren't watching closely, you look at that game and Saquon Barkley's doing something amazing, right? You just kind of turn your head and it's like, wow, he's scoring again, right? Saquon Barkley, 15 carries, 118 yards, averaged 7.9 yards a carry, and had 3 touchdowns. His longest run was 60 yards. Will Shipley came in late in the game because, again, this was a blowout. This was a blowout, right? Shipley comes in late, 4 carries, 77 yards, and he gets a touchdown. His biggest run is 57 yards, right? He broke a big one down. And when he got his run, don't get me wrong, the Commanders were already demoralized, right? But as a professional, you can't just let up, right? Because the backups are in, because you've already been embarrassed enough, right? Jalen Hurts ran the ball okay, right? He's not like Jaden Daniels or Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson where you expect him to have a lot of rush yards. They really use him in the situations third down, fourth down, and short. with the tush push, right? The brotherly shove, as they call it at times, right? So don't expect them to have a lot of yards, but know that when he is running the ball, more often than not, they're either converting for a first down, or in this case, he had 3 touchdowns. He only ran for 16 yards and had 3 touchdowns. 3 rushing touchdowns, that is, right? He had 3 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown. I mean, the guy had an amazing game along with Saquon Barkley. They even gave the ball to Dallas Goedert, Kenneth Gainwell, right? I mean, everybody was getting the ball on offense. Everything was clicking for them. And like I said before, once you get the run going, it's so much easier to set up the pass. If we look at the Philadelphia receiving core, A.J. Brown, 6 catches for 96 yards and a touchdown. Dallas Goedert, 7 receptions, 85 yards. Devontae Smith, 4 for 45. And so on, right? No fumbles or anything. They didn't put the ball on the ground. The Eagles did, and that's going to be key in the Super Bowl as well. If you look to the Commanders, 3 fumbles, 3 lost. Eckler lost 1. Jeremy Nichols lost 1. De'Ami Brown lost 1. Can't do it. Because up until the fourth quarter, right, the Commanders were feeling like they had a chance. But then to lose the fourth quarter 21-0, that was it. Right? That was it. They put them away. Okay. Eagles, for what it's worth, had 3 first downs from penalties. Commanders had 0. Eagles had 459 total yards on 66 plays. The Commanders had 350 on 77, right? So the Commanders ran 11 more plays, but fell 109 yards short of the Eagles' productivity, right? And the Eagles did have 2 really big runs, one from Saquon Barkley, one from Shipley. Let me go back for a second. Let's start with the red zone, okay? The Commanders, most of their scoring was done from outside of the red zone. They were 1 for 2, right? Even again, if they convert that other one, it's still a 25-point loss. The Eagles, 7 for 7. Perfect in the red zone. Commanders defense needed to do more. I mean, there were situations where I don't know. It feels like the Commanders missed way more tackles this game than in any other game that I've watched them this year. And I get it. You're playing against Saquon Barkley, but still, man, it just looked like after a few solid runs by him that defense was so demoralized and just like did not want to tackle him. I think that the Eagles defense did really well to limit what Jaden Daniels has been really good at this year, making big plays down the field with his receivers, and then only using his legs when he really needs to. I wouldn't say that he has scrambled. He's got like 800 yards scrambling on the season, but in this game, they really kept him pretty boxed in, I would say. He, again, 6 carries, 48 yards and a touchdown. His longest run was 20 yards. You take that all day if you're the Eagles defense. Now, congratulations to the Eagles on reaching the Super Bowl. Shout out to the Commanders for a really good season. They were able to really turn the franchise around in 1 year. You went from 4-13 to 12-5 in just 1 season. And a lot of that is due to a rookie quarterback coming in and really helping shape how that franchise is going to play with some key pickups, Zach Ertz and Bobby Wagner coming in on the defensive side, right? So the Commanders, a fantastic season. It's just right now the Eagles are just that much better. They've got that much more talent, that much more poise, that much better execution in a big game like this, and that's why they're going to the Super Bowl. So shout out to the Eagles in that 55-23 win, and I'll look forward to watching them against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.